Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining.
Good evening, welcome back. Game 2 is the one that we're going to watch for the semi-finals of the Join Dota League Europe. One of these two teams will be going to the grand finals against Empire, who's already waiting in the grand finals. Now, we're going to have maybe one, maybe two games. It all depends on the result of the coming game. We've got Rockskiss being up one game over Cloud9. And with two people here today, we've got Nahaz Doda, our statsman, in the game. Won't hear him, won't see him, but you'll see what he does. And of course also, once again, my co-caster, welcome back, Rickamond, to the broadcast.
Good to be back, Shiva. A pretty great game one.
Oh yeah.
I think you were discussing earlier today about how you didn't see enough new strategies coming out. Both teams with new strats. Maybe not the time for the upheaval based strategy against Stampede, just because Stampede and defensive disruption are both so good against it. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes Goblek's drafts seem slightly overrated, but in that game it just seemed like
everything
the whole thing,
together.
it was like a puzzle box. Not only did it work, not only did their strategy work, but somehow it perfectly countered Cloud9's strategy too, right? It was really epic. It's always a pleasure to see something like that. Game 2, they're going to start with the same two heroes, Centaur, Warrunner, and Shadow Demon. Whereas Cloud9 is going to switch it up. They're going to put Sing Sing on maybe a more comfort pick than the Tinker, the Mirana.
You say Sing Sing, but it's actually been Envy that's been playing it a couple of times as well lately.
Well,
so.
That's true. And for EG, he played it almost non-stop during that tournament. Although EG in interviews said that was actually one of his first times playing Mirana competitive.
Yeah, it was. I actually
so
interviewed
maybe they're
him,
ready for that transition. But Sing Sing is an excellent Mirana, and I personally, from a strategic perspective, I feel that Mirana is better in the two mid playmaker role.
I agree. Yeah. She's more of a playmaker than a hardcore carry, though she can work in that as well. We've seen that before. I have to say, I like that Rox is, thinking, you know what, it worked game 1, let's try game 2 as well, but...
Well, Centaur is still stupid.
Yeah, and I mean, the combination Shadow Demon Centaur is still just as strong. I'm hoping that they are still going to switch it up a little bit, because I feel like if they do it again, this time Cloud9 is prepared for it, and they've already got two very mobile heroes picked up.
Cloud9 may not have... Yeah, I totally agree with you. They may not have seen some of the tech that came. I mean, they probably have seen it, but they haven't faced it. Like that Centaur tower return thing that I mentioned, and then it's just so stupid, right?
True, but that comes from if he's farmed enough, then he can do that.
It does. You need heart at the very least. Heart plus one item.
Yeah.
Before heart, you can't do it.
True. So if you have got two heroes so far, Mirana and Bear that get online very early on, it can stop him from getting that heart. Then you're set. However, Rockskiss, they do ban out the Bane, which is of course a favorite combination with the Mirana. And even though we know that Sing Sing can hit arrows, it's a bit more difficult if you've got a Shadow Demon to protect the target from arrows, or if you have got a Stampede to get away from arrows. So I feel like they need something to set it up with anyway. And I'm wondering what that thing is going to be, because there's not that much left. I need some solid disable, I find, though they have got disable, so it's not necessarily needed, but I would like to see it.
Sure. Yeah, Rocks could get some stuns. Something to combo with Shadow Demon, or more stuff to combo with Shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ban out the Nature's Prophet. I think that's smart. Seedoi, 768 GPM last game. Really, that's the one thing they didn't have in that lineup, was any sort of auto attack damage, but Seedoi farmed so well that even with the first item not being an auto attack item, his first item was the Necronomicon. After that, he built straight into Mjolnir and crit, and his damage was very impressive. And they steal the Luna. Ooh, and they ban Visage. Very responsive drafts here. The Visage ban targeted at AUI, the Nature's Prophet ban targeted at Seedoi, and of course the Abaddon ban targeted at We Hate playing against Goblek. Yeah,
heal heroes. And the Luna pickup, saying you don't want two cat ladies. Basically. Actually, we've seen games with both Mirana and Luna on the opposite sides before, and I think more often than not, I've seen Mirana win lately, so...
I'm sure Nahas has that stat. That's a good...
Yeah, I would like to see that stat. Which cat lady is more successful again when played in the same game against each other, of course. That would be a nice stat to have. I don't know if that's possible, but that would be great. We are lacking supports, so we've got
Yes, that is
Agent
possible.
Operation still in the pool. Dazzle, that we saw banned out in the previous game, still in the pool.
Dazzle could work here for rocks, honestly. Bad. Ancient App is a possible response. Pilot Die plays pretty good at Apparition. MLG was one of the first times we really saw a professional level Ancient Apparition. It was Pilot Die in like the pseudo 3-roll offlane Ancient App rushing Midas, and it was our first showcase of the hero. Certainly this game could work. I don't know if I'd necessarily love it unless they see something like a Dazzle. The thing about AA and Batrider is it's kind of a non-bow. Like you'll definitely kill the guy you lassoed, but it reduces like the team fight winning aspect of the ult. Otherwise you just don't use the ult, and then it's like I don't know. So yeah, we'll see what they come up with. I think Cloud9 has a lot of room to play here. Wraith King is in the... I swear I said that before that appeared.
It's a nice pickup. I actually I'm expecting it to be a support, but it's not a given.
Yeah, Eternal Envy. They've had Eternal Envy play Wraith King. They can have AUI play Wraith King. The hero fits in a lot of different roles. He doesn't need that much farm. He needs some farm. But on a team like Cloud9, where like the 5 roll is a hard 5 roll and your 4 roll farms, you can definitely find space for like a Blink and then Blade Mail. Or Halberd, or Mjolnir. Those are the modern routes to building Wraith King all run through Blink, more or less, but then you have a lot of choices.
So it does need quite a bit of farm.
My worry is, what if he gets Blink, and they Blink Initiate, and they get the slow off, and then Rux just stampedes?
Yeah, because we've seen that before. Like, previous game.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah. That Centaur Warrior doesn't care about slows, and it uses the slow against them, because when the slow is happening, everybody of the team that has the slow will move in, and then Rux is gonna run away and then run back in, because then everybody of Cloud9 might be out of position, just like they were last game. So interesting to see how that's gonna work out. I mean, both of the teams are taking a long time to think about this draft, to be honest. They're really thinking this through, and of course, I mean, it is the first day, a first real long day of 6.81. So there's a lot of things to be thought about as well. A lot of gimmicky things that might not have come to people, and there's your Dazzle. And actually, Dazzle Shadow Demon, of course, still very strong. And I mean, we've seen so many tri lanes with Shadow Demon, Luna, Dazzle. I would like to see it as an aggressive tri lane this game, as we've seen it multiple times before.
It's definitely potential. Still very, very strong, especially if it's like up against like a lane that does have Mirana in it. We don't know if that'll happen. I think probably not, but just the damage differential makes it very difficult for Mirana. Yeah, Dazzle, Shadow Demon, very scary. They're gonna go with a Rubik, so they might have their 2 supports here. Rubik, of course, there's lots of good stuff to steal here. There's Stampede, there's a Demonic Purge, there's Eclipse, of course. There's most of Dazzle's spells are great to steal.
Yeah.
You could see Pilot Die having a very good game on Rubik here. Yeah, the AA ban, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a healing hero, you don't want anything to stop that heal. Though, to be said, Ruxkiss hereby is thinking Wraith King perhaps as the carry. They're banning out a support hero, so it's not necessarily true, because you can run a lot of different variations, but that would be my way of thinking.
I agree. I think the AA ban makes sense. Like, it's sort of a good ban regardless, because if you don't ban AA, then the other team certainly has the option of running Wraith King 1 and putting the AAs in and having a really good lineup.
5 seconds remaining.
And then, obviously now, if Cloud9 wants to, they don't have to have the another support. They can just have Wraith King support. But I am kind of worried, because I agree, Shiver. I think an aggressive tri-lane is in the offing for Rocks, in which case Rubik is quite weak in that 3v3 early on. Will Cloud9 just have the muscle to actually survive that tri-lane, or will they try to dodge it by like laning cleverly and just not having to face that tri-lane?
10 seconds remaining.
It really depends on what that Wraith King is going to be like. Because if that Wraith King is a support, then I wouldn't be too sad if it was actually an aggressive on aggressive tri-lane. So then you've got 2 disables on your side, and especially 3 if you got Moran on that lane as well. Depends on what they are planning to do with that, of course. A lot of versatility is still possible. If it's a Wraith King
Maybe.
core, they would, in my opinion, need to dodge it. I mean, but Rock's Kiss, I mean, we've seen them run aggressive tri-lanes, but we've also seen them run aggressive dual lanes. And to be honest, Luna Dazzle can be a nice dual lane. Luna Shadow Demon is a nice lane. Centaur Shadow Demon is a great lane.
Shadow Demon,
Centaur Dazzle
yeah,
is a nice lane. So you have so many different... Oh, look at that! I was not expecting that to happen. But I love it.
So yeah, 2-2-1 is very possible here.
He didn't get a buff, did he?
Yeah, he did. Dude, he got a crazy buff. So Anchor
buff.
Smash is 60% damage reduction instead of 40%. And it works on Ancients. It works on Ancients. Like, that's no joke. Like, he can imagine how quickly he can clear an Ancient stack with Luna. Like, Luna no longer needs, like, to be massively in glaives, because I can just tank it and sit there, and they can clear the Ancient stack very quickly. It's less about him solo stacking it and more about him duo stacking it with an AoE carry.
Does it work on mud golems?
Should? Nahaz maybe can correct me, I don't.
Because if so, he can be a very good offlaner and then rotate into the jungle if things go difficult, because he can just jungle.
Yes, definitely. Well, on Dire, you mean that they would have him solo safe and have him rotate into jungle?
Because
he can definitely Ancients. Like, he can just stack Ancients and stuff. That's for sure true. They can put him in the offlane, have him stack Ancients, and have Luna and him clear them out.
Well, we'll see. So far, it's an offlane player play it, as Seedoy is picking up the Tidehunter. We also see that Sing Sing is the one playing the Mirana, the Templar Assassin, so it will be Envy playing the Mirana, as we have seen him do that lately before.